world, how are you? We have some Q&A to do. Hope you're doing fine, cause it's Q&A time again. Hello world, how's it going? Hope you guys are all doing great. Kelly Evans, you beat me to it. And how are you? Let me know in the chat. Hope you guys are all staying safe and out of trouble, at least a little bit. Welcome to another Friday Night Live Q&A, where you can ask us, the community, and I questions on keeping an aquarium, fish, shrimps, and plants. All those, fish, shrimp, and plants, all on this Q&A for you guys. Thomas Glazer, thank you so much for the $5 super chat already. That is very appreciative, Thomas Glazer. Thank you so much for your support. And hello everybody in the chat. Glad to see you all in here. Ooh, I don't like that. I'm gonna have to turn that back around. I'm trying to adjust my little pedestal here. I thought it'd be better to have it on a slope, but it's not. But thank you, Thomas. I appreciate it. Hello. Do fit guppies fins grow back? Yes, they can. At least it seems like they can. They kind of like turn white when they're growing back too. That's what I've noticed. Discus tank is looking great. I'm enjoying it. Oh yeah, speaking of which, I need to add some water. I gotta top it off. I need to top off all my tanks. Haven't been doing much for maintenance, so I just hit the remote here, turn it on. You can see it's going there. Hopefully I don't overfill it here. Talking to you guys. Scrolling for questions. Awesome. Lots of you guys in here. Let's see. Any questions? So many killifish under special buys. Yes, candy overhaul. Speaking of which, a lot of you guys are waiting for that killifish video, which I have shot. I actually got it uploaded here, about ready to edit that. That's what is on the agenda for tonight. Goose Not Maverick says, LRB, what's this merch I caught wind of? So I do actually have some merch on Spring Tees of the Mad Scientist. And Alexander Williamson should be working on a new piece of artwork for LRB Aquatics, which should be a lot of fun, and I absolutely love his style. It'll be same kind of style, just different theme. Should be interesting what he comes up with, so I'm excited about that. Ted Shelty says, did you take out some plants? Yeah, as far as the stem plants, I took pretty much all the stem plants out, the Rotalia, what else was in there? What is that? Rotalia rotundifolia. That was the other one that was in there with them. And then Lymphnophilia sessiflora. A big reason why I took those stem plants out was the fact that they grew way too fast. I could not keep up with them since I have so many tanks. It's hard for me to keep up with all this plant growth. I mean, look on this other side of here. Like, all my plants just turned to jungles, literally. If left unattended. If I got faster growing plants, which is nice to have in some tanks, but you know, it just turns into a jungle. Here's like a jungle of Taiwan lily, all grown up off the top. Jungle of jungle val. So I have troubles keeping up with the maintenance of it, so I had to take all the stems out there. And I guess I'm gonna let like the swords and crypts take over. Fish for Thought in the chat. What's up, bro? The aquarium guys, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. I appreciate that. Friday Fish, hello from the Aquarium Guys podcast. Awesome. Well, glad to have you in here, bro. And thank you so much for the super chat. Christopher Gonzalez says, LRB in a heavy 75 planer aquarium, what's a good ratio of female to dwarf rainbow fish? Also, what other community fish can I keep with them? So if you're looking for a community, if you want a school of them, that all depends on you. 75 gallon, I've got, probably well over 100 in that one. Oh, well, no, that's probably like 50 fish, I would say. I don't know, maybe more, I can't count. That's a lot. How many fish do you guys think's in there? I have no clue. maybe 50. So that's in a 75. As far as fish you can keep them with most any community fish, discus, barbs, Congo tetras, regular tetras, catfish, Cory, pandagoras, autocinkless. You can keep them with pretty much everything. Very peaceful fish, as long as the other fish isn't too aggressive. And if you're doing your water changes, that all depends on your stocking and stuff. What you can get away with. Like I could absolutely have way more fish in this tank, but I don't. Actually, what I would love to do with this tank is take all the fish out besides like maybe my Congo tetras. Let them breed in here once. Or maybe just leave the catfish in here, just let it be a breeding ground for just species only. A tiny little half beak. Alright. Just gotta make sure I don't go too high, because if I go too high then it hits this glass up here. Then I've got to take water out, which is a pain. It's just that much more work. Real yellow light on it though. I don't have any of the newer ones on here with the blue. Actually, one of them's yellow and one of them's blue. So you actually got different color contrast on here, lighting wise. And you can actually help support the color of your fish depending on your lighting spectrum. Indoor fishing inside will Pseudomugil illuminatus hybridize with Urutu? Thanks a bunch. You know what? I'm not really sure. I've never actually discussed it a whole lot or even delved into that much, but being from the same family, both Pseudomugils, I would say there's a possibility. Now, when it comes to rainbow fish and hybridizing them, it is very, 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 very looked down upon when you hybridize rainbow fish. They're not like guppies and other fish like that you do not want to hybridize them. There's so many beautiful types of rainbow fish that there's no need, and we got to preserve that. And holy moly, Michael Sizemore in the house. Thank you so much for the $10 super chat, Michael Sizemore. Hope all's gone great in your new place. I would love to check that out sometime. If you guys don't know who Michael Sizemore is, he's the guy of Water Forest who has some absolutely amazing aquascapes. But thank you so much for the support. And Danikin Aquatics, thank you for your support as well. Throwing down a $10 super chat. Thank you so much, brother. Or I should say Danny and Ken. Says, what's up, Lucas? Great to see you, my bro. Great to see you in here, too. I don't know if you're doing that bowling thing again this Friday. If so, good luck in bowling. And thank you guys very much. Christopher Gonzalez, LRB, or anyone here in the chat, what's a good ratio of male to female dwarf neon rainbow fish? Yeah, that was the other part of your question. So when it comes to, actually, if you're looking to breed them, which I actually have a breeding pair, and this is where all these rainbow fish came from. All these babies, these dwarf neons, have come from this pair. So I've learned when it comes to breeding them, it's better to just breed them in a pair. Whoa, these guys are flipping out. Careful. A little wild. They didn't expect me to run up on them. But if you're keeping them in a colony, I would say it really depends on the size of the colony. As long as you're half and half, you should be all right. I don't think it's going to make much difference if you're even over that, because they are very peaceful in nature. And they're not really an aggressive fish, so you could even have all males when it comes to rainbow fish. It doesn't really matter that much. They all pretty much get along. Now, if you were to have like one female and two males, that may be a problem for either the female or one of the males, because then that may create some competition. But if you got like 3 females, 5 males, where it's kind of off like that, you at least have 3 males or 3 females to take the attention away. Same with the other males who will take the attention away. So the aggression is spread throughout the community in a sense to where it's diluted, if that makes any sense to you. Hopefully it does. Here's some more up here. Rainbows, rainbows everywhere. Actually, are these? I think these are. Yeah, these are dwarf neons too. I got some of the ruba vittatas around. These lampites are really cool. Killifish. Okay, now I'm sorry if I'm missing any of you guys' questions. I do the best I can here. I'm gonna try to hit the ones on the bottom though. That way we're closer to what's in chat. Kawanu Aquatics says, will them rainbows eat their little ones? So there are actually fry up above here. You guys might not be able to see it, but is that one? No, I don't know if that one is one. But there are some in here. There's one like right here, swimming about. And they will predate on them, but if I keep them fed enough, they won't go after them as much. So I can actually colony breed them as long as I feed them really well. Which they're hungry now. And that's usually just feeding them more frequently if you want to feed them more. That doesn't mean like throw a bunch of more food in when you initially feed them. That means feed them a little bit more frequently if you want them to breed more. Because they get hungry throughout the day. Boop, boop, boop. But yeah, I love them guys. Beautiful, beautiful fish. Alright, the Fishy Mailman. Thank you so much for the $10 super chat. Great to see you in here, bro. Says, it's been too long since I've caught one of these live. I placed my order for some killies today. The Amphicemian Vanadium, I can't say that middle one. Lagos Red. Hope you and the family are doing well, brother. Well, I hope you and your family are doing well as well. Hopefully they're not working you too hard. And thank you so much for putting in your order. And do you still have those killies I gave you the last time? Those carte blanches, those things were awesome. The Xiphidius. What camera do you use, bro? So I am just on my phone, iPhone X. Is it coming through all right today? Because I am on a different network. Or well, I'm on the same network, but we got upgraded. So hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing. Looks great, that's good. That's good. Because usually it's absolutely horrible and it's not even worth showing anything. This Taiwan lily's growing crazy, so you can see none of that's actually planted there. Cory Doris, the Dolphi's hanging out back there. Can you guys see those all right? Bristlenose Pleco hanging out on that wood. Cold rice killifish. Taiwan lily as a floater. All right, these are your new tanks, correct? I think these may have been up for like a year. These were the dirted, so when I did the dirted series, so this one's like sand, this one's sand, this one's eco and dirt, mostly dirt, eco, sand, Brightwell. So there's a test of a lot of different substrates. Like this one's got a lot more dirt and eco in it. And you know what? I don't know how much of a difference they really actually do. I think a lot of it has to do with starting off enough plants, enough fast growing plants to eat up excess nutrients to fight algae and stuff. So like this tank, there's hardly any plants in there, opposed to this tank that has fast growing Sessophora lymphnophilia, which grows fast, eats up those nutrients, so you don't have that problem so much. With the green water, the algae growing. These actually haven't had a water change for a long time too. I don't know, what do you guys think? So I actually have not been doing maintenance in here since almost like November, December. Like some of them have gotten water changes, some have just got top offs. I was thinking about just doing like a fish tour, dirty room fish tour. Because mostly what it is just like regular maintenance, scraping up the glass, cleaning out some of the algae. Like this pearlweed, that's toast. There's no salvage in that. So I'll just start off with another clump of pearlweed. But yeah, life's been so busy, it's been hard to keep up with things. But you know what? I'm not losing fish. I'm not running filters. I'm not really doing a whole lot here. I keep the water changes, like the top off's done for the most part. I try to do that. And yeah, I need to do water changes though. But I was thinking about doing a fish room tour first. And then do like a dirty one and then do a cleanup, like a before and after. So I don't know, I may do that. All right. These guys are really cool. Too bad you can't see them through the front. The worst is like the light reflection too. It's always a big battle. Boom, boom, boom. See, I got nets hanging in a tank. Ugh, I used to have a helper, Haley, Oddball Aquatics, but now I don't, so there's a lot to do. Banded pencilfish, these guys are awesome. Love these things. So hard to catch out of there. All right, back to questions. It's enough with me rambling. Sorry, guys. Bob S. says, hey, LR, if you're doing water changes, are you still adding ferts? So, actually, since I haven't been doing water changes as much, I haven't added ferts in here for a long time. It's been a couple weeks. And even then, I'd do it lightly. Look at the red on its eye and nose. I don't know if you guys can see that. Can you guys see the red on its eyes and near the gills? Deborah says, what are the best water parameters for breeding guppies? They prefer hard water, so anything up above 200, I would say go 300 plus TDS, which is your total dissolved solids. That'll help you breed guppies. They love the harder water. Fish are showing nicely tonight. Actually, the fish are showing nicely every day. All the time, it's just capturing them is the real problem. A lot of people don't realize how this fish room really looks like in person, which is unfortunately. I wish I could have something more public, but you know, there's a lot that goes into that. Talk about time. There's some red Delta guppies. But I'm glad you guys are able to see it a lot better tonight, for sure. What color substrate would you recommend for good green jade shrimp? All right, so the greens, that's a real tricky one because the way they breed out is very variable. So if you have a dark substrate, it could work out, but the problem with the dark substrate is it can make it hard to see the green jade shrimp. And if you have sand, they're gonna more than likely try to blend in with it as well. But if you're really trying to line them, get a good grade, get an amazing lineage of them, I would go with sand. That way you would know they would be really strong in the future. See, like regular maintenance in this tank, this is all, see, this is Mother Nature's great equalizer. This is a big reason why I can get away with less water changes. Is all this mold, beneficial mold and algae in here helps digest the waste of the fish, excess food, blah, blah, blah. And I mean, everybody's doing great. I mean, the Nubius is still in order, so all I had to do is siphon that out and bada bing, it looks like a new tank. I wish the Plecos would come out though. There's some neat Plecos in there. Here's my breeding group of CPDs down there. I don't know if you could see them. Kind of see some movement down there. They breed off in the cup. I need to get back to doing those too. All right, let's see here. These are the Japanese blues. Oh, running out of room here. All right, looking for questions. And sorry once again if I'm missing your questions. Try my best. Don't remember, do you breed short body guppies? I'm not quite sure exactly what you would classify as a short body guppy. Look how big this male Endler is though. Actually, it's a hermaphrodite. But it's got the colors of a male. Let me try to get it over here. It's actually the biggest one I've ever seen. I've never seen anything like it. Well, I may be barely a male, but he's right there. He's humongous. He's like the size of a female. Can you show me your Shelleys on the far left, please? Asked Joel G. And yeah, best way to get a question answered is to throw question marks. Even if you have to throw excessive question marks. That's always a good way. Because, you know, you got to get my attention. Let me get in the front. That might be better. But these guys, I mean, planet tank with Shelleys. Often people say you can't do planet tanks with Shelleys. Which I could do like stem plants and whatnot. They wouldn't care. Just got to give it space. What are the best water parameters for breeding guppies? Once again, harder water. Anything over 300 TDS. You can get away with 200 TDS above. Underneath, they don't breed as well in acidic. Some people do get lucky with soft water breeding. I know overseas, some importers do breed in soft water and why they have troubles transitioning here. But I guess it's all on what they're kind of used to. I've had better luck myself with using the hard water opposed to when I was using the soft water. Hey Lucas, what brand of TDS meter do you use? I don't know. I've used all kinds. HM Digital, I have these cheap ones. For the most part, they're all pretty reliable. They even sell them for pools and stuff too. So sometimes you get bulk buys, depends on how many tanks and stuff you got. But they're really fairly inexpensive considering what all and how much money people will throw away in that tanks. And it's a kind of an essential item. It's a lot cheaper than a filter, which people use and you don't need. As you notice, there's no filtration, no airlines, just Shelleys and Anubias and shells. Ginger Graves, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. Hope you're doing great. Says, my fish arrived today, alive and well. Can I keep the killie pairs together or should I separate them? Right now they are in pairs, but the jars are only 1 gallon. Don't want them killing each other. So if you have them in a bigger space, you could get away with it. I'll show you here. Even in this community, I've got killies, but this is obviously a huge space. In a gallon, I would keep them together in pairs. You could actually breed them out in gallons. In just a gallon tank, they don't really require a whole lot of room. They can live in puddles and stuff. So I've actually got 3 males in here. They do have little battles in Fishocracy. I saw some of you guys talking about Fishocracy, which is this tank that we do the Fishocracy series in. And there's 3 killies in here. I haven't been able to keep up with that just because of just life and everything else I've been having to keep up with. I need to try to keep breeding these guys. But the Bristlenose Plecos have been checking it. I think these guys are being problematic with the eggs. I have seen these hill trouts actually spawn. They spawned right there in that gravel. They went down, wiggled down there, which I don't know if anybody's actually bred the hill trouts, but it was kind of neat to watch them actually spawn in the substrate opposed to going into the mops. And the mops were in there. But sorry to deter off that Ginger. As far as them killing each other, I would say since you'd have 2 males, 2 females, if you have them in a 10 gallon, you could get away with that. But if your goal is to breed them, I'd keep them in the gallon and then try to either use a spawning mop or peat moss within like a deli cup container. I don't have any on my table, but they're the ones that I always use. Kind of like what's back in the back there. Kind of hard to see. But they're like the little round deli cups where you just stick peat moss or either a spawning mop in there. And then depending on the type of fish, depends on what it prefers. So do your homework on that. Because I know you got a few multiple types. But you can grow them in those little spaces. For instance, we can actually go in here. And I've actually bred, that way people can see these. But in these little containers that I have, which are like maybe half a gallon, they actually breed in there. I've been putting peat moss in all of them because they've been laying eggs in the peat moss. So even as I move these out, hopefully I can get some babies. This one's sitting here right now because it's got some blue Gularis eggs in it that I recently sent out. And then when I get my peat moss for these, this is peat. Ooh, I just got it everywhere. It's got it not quite shut all the way, and I squeezed it. But this is peat right here. It's like broken down organics. Let's see, where's the bag? Here's the bag. Sorry, I gotta get the dehumidifier. These things are always running. It's like a rainforest in here with all the fish tanks, you know. Look at that tank. Platinum red sapphire dumbos. I know you guys are always asking about these guys because I don't have a picture on the website, but here's the group of them. Fire and ice guppies. Once again, sorry if I'm missing your questions. I'm trying to give more in-depth explanation on this, but this is the peat moss. You try to find something organic. Used to have a website on it, but it is wet now. But this is what that stuff is. I like to put it in a bag, get it all wet, moist. That way it'll sink faster, because if not, it'll just float. As you can see here, it's just floating right up top. There is some settled. I've actually had full 20 longs where I've actually used that for substrate, which is actually really neat. But the only problem is that the fish will dive down into it, and good luck catching any fish out of that. I actually bred sparkling gouramis that way though, with that peat moss tank. And ended up getting some babies, that in a clay pot. Here's the black Moscow guppies. Dylan Bennett says, hey, having a good night here in Alberta, Canada, watching the 125N wobbly pop. Had some advice from you with air in my dirted substrate. Waited it out. Everything is growing great. Fish happy. Awesome to hear. All right. Mink Fish Keeper says, does anyone know how's the quality in here in the utility room? Usually this is a very, very rough spot for the internet. But Mink Fish Keeper, M-A-N-C, is looking for a good seller of goodie aids in the UK. Any of you guys know? Help a brother out. What are those crazy containers with the sponge overflow handles? So Erica, I'll show you those. Let me grab. Whoa! What's up, guys? Oh, here, let me grab one. Boom. So these are hard to read over there. We've been having to filter our own water because can't really get any at the store. It's been kind of weird. Oh, here we go. Aquatic Habitats. There's the number and the website. They used to not sell to the public, but they do now, because I think so many of you guys have hounded them over the years. And these are just like little 2-liter containers, I believe. And I've got them in here, which I've got a video on the full build of this. But you have water go in here and then overflow out there, which I've got sponges on mine to help with that. I got that whole build, and then I've got another build of some other rack I did with that, my other fry rack. David Reed says, I send a few emails to this company and they never responded. I don't know. I know some people that have had luck with contacting them and getting price lists and stuff. Maybe they got super busy, I don't know. Kind of a unique company for sure. Do you or anyone in the chat know how to get rid of Blackbeard algae? So Blackbeard algae is a real pain in the butt. Best thing I like to do with it is use hydrogen peroxide. Just squirt a little bit on it. And it will make it turn into all kinds of cool colors, and that's how you know it's dying. Just be careful not to use a lot of this. Just, you want to kind of like spot dose it. and then do your water change. What medications do you use to quarantine your fish? So I do not use any medications when it comes to quarantining my new fish, unless they actually show signs of problems. So all those killifish, luckily I had no problem with, especially in those little containers. A big reason to this is the fact that I give them fish baths. So I kind of walk you guys through this too, because this is actually a big one. This will save so many of you guys on diseases, problems, issues, and things coming into your aquarium, is giving your fish a fish bath. So what you could do, usually I use the bag they come in, but you could use like a container like that or something. But I usually use the bag they come in. Since I have a carbon block, which, mind all the intimidating plumbing work, it's just a different place where my water comes in. So I use this carbon block. You can get these at the Home Depot. Super easy to install onto your main line. And this will actually help take the chlorine chloramines out with carbon. I do have bigger towers for like my RO and whatnot. So I can actually get away with rinsing my fish in the sink, and I just wash all that water out that may have things within it. And ever since I started doing that, I hardly ever have any issues with fish. Hardly ever. And yeah, it makes a huge difference. Now, if you don't put in a carbon block, you could use your aquarium water. So if you have some good trusty aquarium water, you can end up using that and just rinse them out with that. Are you making a video over the Killifish Carnival? So when I was at the Killifish Carnival, that night before the Killifish Carnival, let me flip you guys over. I went to Columbus, Ohio, did a talk up there that night. And this was off of like hardly any sleep, just got back from the islands like that weekend before, just catching up on things. And I made it to the Killifish Carnival, got there for the box sale, everything else. And they did not have all the killifish set up for the show yet. And I was just super dog tired. And I went to sleep at like 3 o'clock that day, and yeah, I did not get a chance to actually film the killifish at the Killifish Carnival, but I did bring a ton of types of killifish from the Killifish Carnival and videotaped all the ones that are in that utility room. Some of them have been sold. My members and Patreons were notified about them, but I still got all the ones before they sold them on a video clip, which hopefully I'll have out for you guys tomorrow. Wash my fish in the sink. Yeah, that's what I do. I mean, it works out great. It makes a huge difference. And Oddball Aquatics, she's in the chat. She could vouch for all this. And I mean, I've got somebody who's watched me do this for a long time. But yeah, I hope the quality of the stream is doing well for you guys. I don't know, it'll be interesting to see some of the playback. I don't normally play them back, but will be good to see. Brent Jordan said, I noticed my orange Sakura shrimp are lethargic and one of them is losing its pigmentation. My GH is 8, my KH is 4, ammonia and nitrate is 0. What could be going on? Maybe there is a bacterial infection going on in there. I know sometimes that will turn them white, if they're like kind of going white on you. And the best thing to do is a water change, not too big of a water change. If you do over water change them, they can be more prone to that bacterial infection because they don't have enough beneficial bacteria to overfight that bad bacteria. So you can actually fight bad bacteria with good bacteria. I have done it on multiple occasions, and that's with like using sponge filters or like that sponge I got on my power head. It's got all that beneficial bacteria as it cycles that water through. That's eating all the organics and whatnot, the waste. Clear stream, that's amazing. It's good. I noticed there is a little more of you in here than usual. So the clear vision must help. Because I know those Lego Lucas live streams are brutal. And I appreciate all you guys who deal with those Lego Lucas poor quality live streams, because I know it's not easy to watch those. Mark Buckwell says, how can I keep my discus eggs from getting fungus? So big way, and I don't know. Like, I know a lot of people and discus breeders who keep their water super clear. Usually they'll get like the fungus ones away from the good ones. Maybe they're not being fertile. I would like to say to keep your water more beneficial with its bacteria and stuff, maybe season your water before you use it. So if you have a discus tank, season it before you change it. That way it has the good kind of stuff within the water so the fungus can't really take over. And if there's any discus breeders out there that have any good tips for them too, please help a brother out. Eric Brazy says, Lucas, any experience with using LED floodlights to grow plants? So I don't have any personal experience, but I know some other people who have had them and have had great success with them. They can be really strong though, so keep in mind like the depth of your tank, how fast growing plants do you have. I want to like blast a lot of light on slow growing plants because that can cause a lot of problems. Let's see. Sand Creek Aquatics, thank you so much for the $2 super chat, brother. I appreciate it. It says video is no comparison, way better. Awesome, awesome. Eyeball Aquatics says, I vouch for nothing. However, Lucas, close your ears. He does it and it works. And I have done it. Okay, can open your ears now, eyes, whatever. She doesn't want me to get too big of a head. Mickey M says, how are those discus doing? They're doing all right. Swimming around. The aggression seemed to be chill, like the hierarchy has pretty much been settled and everybody's kind of got their place. How is quarantine going in your area? All right, there's still quite a bit of people out, but it's pretty chill. Pretty wild though. Derek Root Chan says, what fish or shrimp would you recommend for a 30-gallon cold water planted community tank? Like, when it comes to that answer or question, it's really hard to tell you a specific fish because there are so many types of fish, and to everybody, the beauty of a fish is different. Some people like redfish, some people like bluefish. So it's really hard to tell me, or to tell you which. And as far as like cold water shrimp, I don't know how cold you're talking. I know a lot of shrimp don't mind the 60s or whatnot. Dylan Bennett says, looking for a larger species at schools that wouldn't eat my cardinals and rummies. Dwarf neon rainbow fish. They school pretty well. They wouldn't eat your cardinals or rummies. Actually, Oddball Aquatics was telling me about some fish the other day that she said schooled better than rummy-nosed tetra. I'm trying to remember what it was. It was some kind of oddball, like not normal one, I think, maybe. She's still in here. Maybe she'll throw it up on chat and I can hopefully find it. Andrea Mayon says, can Amanos bully Neos to the point they die? Oh yeah, for sure. Amanos could definitely take down Neos and eat them up. Ryan Crowley says, should I vac my substrate and shrimp tanks? If so, how to so I don't vac up babies? So no, I would not bother with it. Would not bother with it. Badandy, or Bad Andy. Badandy. That's your new name, Bad Andy. You're a Badandy. Anyone know where to get good quality white clouds? I don't know. That's a good question. Should be interesting how this aquarium industry gets affected with like the importing and stuff. Candy Overhauls, you are the most amazing. Thank you so much for all you do, putting up the links. I don't ever ask you to be here, but you are here, always helping out. And I appreciate you, Candy, so much. My Aquatics says, what is the best substrate for raising Cory cats? So, that's kind of a tricky question. If you're raising up the babies, I would say sand. Now when it comes to keeping Cory cats in sanded tanks, for instance, like this one down here, I've got Cory cats up. They are great for sifting in sand, but they'll keep the mold up, which babies don't mind. So actually I would recommend sand over anything. Because like the gravel of Eco Complete, it could be too hard on their barbels and wear it down. But the sand is real smooth for them. Brightwell's all right, but it's kind of like, it's not very natural. It's all balled up. Like, where do you go and find substrate or ground that looks like that? Nowhere, as far as I know. Dirt's not bad. The only problem with that too is they kick it all up everywhere within the water column. But here it's actually settled nicely. It hasn't been too much of an issue lately. I don't know why, but it hasn't. Now I got a guppy tank in the other room that shows a complete different story where there's just mold within the water column because they're always keeping it kicked up there. So, I don't know, kind of weird. But yeah, I would go with sand for sure. Let's just stand up and look at these guys while I chitter chatter with y'all. Hey, where have you been? Haven't seen you. Oh, talk to somebody else. Clifford Kendall says, love your channel, love the content. What kind of catfish are those in the long tank that was just behind you? So these are called little mini sharks. As far as the species, can't remember. I had a tab up forever, but there's not a whole lot of information on them. A lot of people thought they were the African grass cutting cats, but they're not. They don't get that big. These are full size. This is as big as they get. I really want to breed them. Little mascara barbs. They used to be babies. Those were my babies that I grew up. But I don't know if they're a mix between filamatosis and the Assimilus, because there's actually there was one filamatosis that was in there. There isn't anymore because I pulled them out and put them in here. I think, did I do that? Or no, I meant to do that. Oops. I don't think I did that yet. But I need to do that because I do not need to be breeding them together. So much to do around here. I could spend forever catching fish. I'm always working on new procedures and protocols, I guess you would say. Love these guys. All right, and once again, sorry if I'm missing your questions. What would you do with your collection? So, actually, I am planning on moving. I would still like to move. We're actually selling all this. We're going to sell all this, the house, the business, pretty much everything. And for probably around $400,000 or $500,000. House is worth around $300,000. You can easily make $10K plus a year. But as far as like my collections, I would take some of what I have that I would like to keep, especially like the rainbows, because when I do move, I plan on doing a bigger farm. And I do want to still breed many of these types of fish that I do breed. And whoever does take over too, hopefully maybe we can do like a distribution point to where I do fish and sell to them or blah, blah, blah. There's so many other ways to do it. So, yeah, I don't know. We do plan on moving, but as far as like the collection, I would still keep quite a bit of what's in here. Was gonna ask if the price was negotiable. Have you listed with the agent? So I probably won't list it with the agent, or I have an agent to do all the paperwork. The price is kind of negotiable, especially with like what all is involved. So there's a lot of flexibility within contracting there. That way each person can be happy with the exchange, which I could also offer my services to whoever, which would be free to be able to run and keep this. I would tell them everything, because whoever were to take over this, I would want them to have all the success in the world. Any word on the next mass site auction still going to take place? I don't know. A lot of the clubs and stuff have been shutting things down, so unfortunately, that's the way it is right now. Mickey M says, any red sword plants available in the U.S.? So yes, there are. This is actually supposed to be red melon, but it's not growing really red. They have a lot of them that they sell as red. Excuse me. Let's see. Already got to that. Still planning on moving to the island. So yes, that's the plan. I still want to move to the island. It's still all up. And yeah, so if anybody wants to buy the house, let me know. Hit me up in an email. If you put in want to buy a house in email, I will probably see that. I know a lot of you guys email, and I don't quite get to all my emails, but it's really hard to get to all my emails. Like literally, I have tens of thousands of emails. I don't even know if I've hit 100,000 emails on my thing, on my regular account. But anyways, yes, still want to move to the island, build a big old fish farm where I could breed tons of rainbow fish fast and actually have like big units of vats to grow them out. Like, I'm still excited to do that. Are you selling business or just house and fish? So that would be negotiated, discussed. So if they wanted to buy the website as well, and it would be full transparency to the people too of the exchange. And if they wanted just the house and the fish, that's their option too, because there's a lot of different ways you could do it. But as far as stock in here, there's a ton of stock and inventory to get going and growing off of. Like, I am not pushing special sales to like get rid of everything before I sell it or anything like that. As you guys know, every day is a sale on my website. But nothing special like crazy half off just to grab the money. Like I said, I want whoever take over to have a lot of success with it. And then maybe partnership, who knows? Sing Creek Aquatics says, do you know where I can find mascara barbs? So I got mine from the Wet Spot Tropicals. I know sometimes you can find the filamentaceous mascara barbs, but they're not quite as bright and shiny as these Assimilis, which we can go look at right now, because they're always great to look at. But as far as these Wet Spot Tropicals tend to be the only place I can find it. Very rarely somewhere else will have them. They're kind of rare and they're kind of seasonal when it comes to being in stock. Sharon Miller, glad you got your guppies in today. Thank you so much for ordering. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Rich T says, in regards to the mass size swap, next scheduled announcement date changed on our spring swap banquet and auction. Our new date is May 16th and 17th. So it is still going down. Mank Fish Keeper or Man-C Fish Keeper says, because you're prepared this time round, I bet your new fish room would be a star. Ha ha ha. I want a warehouse to start breeding my guppies, but on farm size, I want to be the guppy king in UK. Well, that would be awesome. I mean, if you got a dream, follow it. Like, I want to do a lot of, like, the rainbow fish, these barbs, hill trouts. Like, I'll have some guppies and shrimp, too, probably. Because I do enjoy them. But, yeah. I often said this was like a practice fish room for me. Which still is one of the nicest fish rooms in the world. I don't really know anybody who has a fish room quite of this size and caliber as far as planted and how many tanks. So it is kind of a unique thing. It's very unique, and that's why it'd be a real shame to break it down. It would be an absolute shame to break all this work down, especially when somebody else could benefit from it. Biofilm, I know a lot of you guys worry about biofilm. It doesn't do anything to your fish. Look how many fish are in this tank. Hopefully we can come down here and look in here without getting in too much trouble with our internet. And you see, I've actually got Blackbeard Algae starting to tuff on the front of the glass, and it often does it into the power head. So the circulation often helps increase Blackbeard's chance of showing up. You can see it getting on the leaves there. There's even supposedly finicky cardinal tetras. Little Cory cats, Bristlenose. Patrick Nedley, thank you so much for the $5 super chat, brother. Great to see you in here again. Says, I received 3 M. Herbert Axelrod and 6 Adolphi Corys today. Super pumped. Thanks for helping keep us sane. Well, you are very welcome. And a nice score and combo on those fish for sure. Absolutely beautiful types of fish. But thank you so much for the support, Patrick. Always great to see you. Everything General says, I keep getting planaria in my Neo shrimp tanks. Any tips to get rid of them without using any chemicals, and how do you make sure that they won't come back? So I actually answer this question about every Friday night, but I always give the chemical answer with the Pancure C dog dewormer, which is pretty much the only way I know of how to get rid of them. You can use smaller fish. The only problem you run into when you try using smaller fish is there's a chance that they're going to eat your shrimp, especially babies. And if you're even using the rock pile method to have your shrimp be able to live in rock piles with all your fish, the planaria can still live down there and still recycle with your fish. So there's no real way to get around that. And I would still recommend the Pancure dog dewormer, Pancure C dog dewormer, because it is safe for your shrimp. Now, if you have a mystery snail or nearite snail or something like that, I would definitely get rid of them. There's a killifish right there. That's a blue panchix, I think. But if you do use the Pancure dog dewormer, 0.1 grams for each 10 gallons, then wait 72 hours, do a 25% water change, then repeat. Try to get some of these Synodontis guys. Ooh, there's the daddy bristlenose. You can only see his fin, top fin though. These were supposed to be the black ruby barbs, but they never really went to fruition here. Looks like a mid-grade, maybe a mid-grade black ruby barb. I don't know, but the gold barbs are really cool. I'm gonna try and lease killifish to eat planaria. So far the shrimp are still multiplying and I see no more little worms. Well, that's good. That's a good balance of an ecosystem for sure with the little leased killifish, because they are kind of small enough. I'm sure they predate on some babies, but if you keep them fed well enough, shouldn't be too much of an issue. That's a big reason too, is if you're feeding them strong enough. Ooh, little baby, little drape fin barb. You don't see those that often. I do have some babies of those in the other room. Lucas, are all you stock, including the shrimp, included in the cell? Yes. Now, granted, I'm going to want to take like maybe 40 of each of my shrimp. And besides that, yeah, it'd all be to go. And if they didn't want like my random fish that I got here, or they didn't want certain types of fish, I would take them and I'd give them a nice little pond somewhere where they could go live their best fishy lives. This is what this tank is. This is my retirement community tank. So like this guy who's got a gill issue, you know, a lot of people would have killed him. They'd been like, oh, here, turn over to the other side, guy. See how he doesn't have a gill plate? It's a deformity from one of the times I bred him out. He was the only guy that had it. But I didn't want to kill him, so I threw him in here. And then same with like, I may have like one type of fish or some killifish that are getting old. Nowhere to go, like all the geriatric fish. They'll come in here. Then like my cardinals, I just keep them in here in case one day I want to breed them. Do your blue dreams true typically have solid blue legs as well? So, not all of them. Like, we can actually go look at them. Because I'm kind of curious. Oh wow, 56 minutes already? That's gone pretty quick. Pretty quick, but we can go look at the colony. We can go double check and see. Indoor Fishing Inside. I absolutely love that name. And thank you so much for becoming a member. And also Kevin K throwing down a $5 super chat. I appreciate you, Kevin K. Says, do you by any chance know what causes the slime coat to fall off during water changes? And it only affects a handful of angelfish in community tanks. So a lot of it probably has to do with the fact that the water, see this biofilm on here, for instance? This is almost like a lubricant for fish and their skin. It's kind of like lotion, I guess. So if you have new water in there that's really oxygenated especially, maybe that can irritate their skin coats and rip off their natural skin coats. So I would do less water change. You could probably do more water change more frequently, but less volume of water change. That way your water can recycle. So when you are changing out your water, all that new water has to kind of recycle itself. And that's how people crash tanks, is by overdoing their water changes. Because it all has to recycle. You're almost better off with doing less water changes to keep your fish healthy. Even though it may look more grimy, it may look more mother naturally, or however you want to say that. But you know what? It works. It works. I mean, that's where a lot of people run into problems. A lot. Even people who have done it for decades. I watch it all the time. I don't know how many fish stores I go to, even shrimp stores I go to, where I'm like, oh man, what are you guys doing? I could almost do that as a full-time job. Just going to fish stores and helping them. Just be able to keep their fish alive, because I mean, that's their product, right? They want to keep that stuff alive, and I want to keep fish alive because, well, somebody needs to. Patrick Nedley, so what did I miss? Been a bit since I've been on here. Is LRB moving? Yeah. So the plan is moving to St. Croix Island or St. John. St. John's a little more expensive. St. Croix is more practical to do a farm on, especially since they have like glass supply companies and stuff like that. But yeah, that's the goal. Start a fish farm down there and drag all you guys around with me as we do so. Splash, splash. Woo! Get them waves going. I love how they get the waves. Wish that reflection wasn't there. I could always kick this off. There, now there's not as much reflection. That one dislike must be a jealous fish keeper. Ha ha ha. Yeah, who knows? There's always got to be a dislike. That's the way she goes. All right, so we're over the hour mark. Sorry if I missed your guys' questions. Truly sorry. As often. I do have Shelleys, Kaler Aquatics. I got 2 groups of Shelleys, and I keep Endlers with 1 group. But yeah. Any planaria killer that won't harm snails. Not that I know of. Not that I know of. So now since we're over the hour mark, I'm just gonna hop off here. No, actually, I'm kidding. Let's feed some fish. I'm gonna take you to the blue drains. We're gonna see if we can get the quality over there. We'll give you a little bonus encore time here. Whoa, one day if I could get Sarah be my camera person, I could probably videotape you guys around on my feeding regimen, because that's actually what I do whenever I get off the live chat here with you guys. Look at this gillyfish, both of them. There's a blue gloris back there at the top. Here he comes. Jump. Jump, jump. And see how I've got this braiding trap down here? I actually don't want to feed over here. It's preferred to feed back here out of the current so it doesn't blow it all in there. And then it'll give these guys time to catch up anything. That way it doesn't get into my spawning mop trap there and cause it to muck up. The little things, often the little things that we don't think of. Just as simple as that, is feeding on a certain spot, you know? Then can make a big difference on the success of what's going on. Chomp, chomp, chomp. Then like this tank, I'll feed all through this tank. Always make sure I get it in the rock pile here, because I do have the fish down there that love to eat within the rock pile. Man, these guys are beasts. They love to eat. Let's feed these little dwarf neons too. I believe I did this last Friday, but I don't know. Are you guys complaining? There's still a bunch of you in here, so I guess not. Yum, 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 yum. Ooh, I know what'll be a good test for this Wi-Fi too, is to go on the other side of this rack. I hardly ever go on the other side of this rack with this camera and phone, because it absolutely destroys my Wi-Fi because of all the tank, the water. But here's more dwarf neons. It's a beautiful tank too. Yum, 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 yum. A lot of corkscrew out. Ooh. And also got the red lotus lily. Grows up top here. Yum, 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 yum. Lots of these guys. Some lucipinus in there too. Is it still doing all right as far as like being able to see? Look at that. New Vias time on Lily. Am I in Lego, Lucas? Will your fish adjust to the island water? Yeah. I can make water be any kind of whatever. And I think they have pretty neutral water. Look at all these guys. Big old fins. And that's a group of CPDs back there. Nothing in there. Some guppies in here. Also some rice fish. Group of CPDs in this Pilomoss, which is dirty, but hey, they like it. And then more babies. Lots of fish, endlers, whatnot. Lots of tanks. Video is excellent quality. Awesome. That is awesome. I'm excited about that. Because, yeah, usually we'll lose that internet right there. Grant Cook, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Says, hey, LRB, endlers I bought from you are doing great. Happy Friday and stay safe, my friend. Well, stay safe as well, Grant. I appreciate you, brother, ordering and supporting. Thank you so much. Ginger Graves, throwing down a $5 super chat. Thank you as well. I appreciate you, Ginger. She's been awesome at supporting what I do, and she's got some amazing tanks herself. Here we go, let's feed these guys. I'm just gonna drag you guys along for the feeding. How's that sound? I'm okay with that. You guys are. There's some really neat rainbows in here. Some that I'll have to hit Gary up and be like, what were these again? Like that guy right there. He may be a parva though. I think that's a female parva, yep. Some more in here. This tank does not look good because of the glass, but if you look inside, it's all right. It's got all the nice plants. There's actually shrimp in here with all these rainbow fish. Let's see. Oh yeah, there's like a purplish black one right there. You can hardly see it. Oh, here's another one. Shrimp. So even with all these big fish, I've got enough coverage in here. There is a nice piece of Texas Holy Rock that adds good coverage for them. But they stay hunkered, they stay low. Is there a more active fish than the rainbow? I don't know. They are like little water puppies for sure. To where they just come right up to you. Especially when feeding. Come here guys. These are the parvas. These guys get real turned up on in the morning. That's the first time I've seen them to be shy eating. They know the camera's out. They don't know what that is. See, now they're coming out. That's weird. That's the first time I've ever seen them do that. Usually they're all like barking at the tank. Rup, 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 rup. There they go. Now they're comfortable. They're like, wait, that's food. Yum, yum. I think they're really active because they're always hungry. But for the most part, at night they do sleep. So if you were to turn your light on in the middle of the night, you'll see them not moving. They'll kind of wash out in color. And here's like a bunch of babies that have come over on the other side. But it'll freak them out as they're trying to wake up because they don't know what's going on because it's like a dream to them. And for like feeding in here, I just get into these little feeding holes for these tetras. See if I can get the glare off of here. Bunch of little tetras. The silver tip tetras have actually been breeding in here naturally. There's a rummy nose, but these guys right here, the silver tips, I get babies in here every now and then of them. But it's fun to watch them come up in here in the pennywort and stuff and nibble around. There's a little catfish in here too, plecos, whatnot. There's a nice ember tetra. These beautiful colors. Look at this Brazilian wort, or pennywort. Comes all the way down. And it's actually, ooh, there's flowers. There's a pennywort flower. This is Angustifolia hygrophila. This plant actually stinks if you rub it on yourself. Ew. But it looks cool. But this is actually grown over onto the other side of this tank, which is really cool because it's kind of like, what's that stuff? Pothos or philodendrias. But it's just like creeping and crawling all the way over into here. So I don't know, I think it's pretty cool. Now this will be a test getting up under here. But there's its flower. I bet that killed the internet. That had to kill the internet going under there. There's no way. Excuse me. Alright, so let's, I gotta hold this. I gotta figure out how to hold all this stuff at once. Some upper tiers, upper tours. Get these guys. Yum, 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 yum. These guys are eaters. Fire and ice guppies. Orange shrimp. There's some baby CPDs in here somewhere. Where they at? Oh, they're hiding. Oh, there's one. Kind of a dirty tank. Another little group of upper tours. Some of these guys are scared of the camera. This tank's nice. The albino galaxy guppies. We've got, what's in there? Gardner Achilles. This got half beaks in it, actually. Of course, they're right in the glare. Can't see them. They're at the top water. Oh, there's Achilles. And as far as what's on the glass here, this is actually just calcium buildup. We got super hard water, lots of lime in it, limestone. So over time, it ends up caking on. Now, if I want to combat that, I'll just start using my soft RO for a while. And the acidity of the soft RO will actually start breaking that stuff down. These are the white cross endlers. Ooh, there's a good one, getting on the side there. See how it's got the white fin? Lots of green in them. And this is a cherry barb breeding tank. Trying to colony breed them. I think I put way too much food in there. Oops. I probably shouldn't feed them tomorrow. Oopsie. Oh well. I'm not used to doing this slide, but holy moly, $20 super chat. Bruce Deaton, thank you so much for a $20 super chat. That is huge of you, dude. It says, which type of Achilles can I keep with angels, neons, and guppies? I don't know, it varies. Amphicebians, Fundulopanchax. Pretty much depends on the size of the tank too. But if you're at like 20-gallon height or above, you get away with most killies, as long as they can't fit each other in each other's mouths. There's a little baby drape fin with my sword tails. Man, that glare sometimes. All right, trying to get to your guys' super chat, but trying to feed these guys at the same time. Dalmatian guppies. GB3, thank you so much. Glad to see you in here, brother. Says hi. And hello, friend. I hope all's going well with you. He's been an awesome supporter, too. And Mank Fishkeeper says, throwing down the $5 super chat as well. Thank you so much. Says, you and Cory are the reason I started breeding fish, so I thank you for all the info you give. I made 200 pounds in the last 5 days on guppies, so here's a tip. Well, thank you so much for sharing, and I'm glad that it's helping you out. I'm glad that it's able to help produce some extra income for you, because, I mean, there's a lot of room for fish breeders out there, especially in this market. I mean, we still import 90% here in the States, so there's, I mean, a demand for homebred fish, and more that we breed ourselves, the less we have to take from the wild. I know guppies don't tend to come from the wild, but they're choosing guppies over a wild type fish, which is beneficial to the non-pillaging of our rivers and rainforests. More dwarf neons, can you believe it? This thing's bred like crazy. I actually had to quit pulling babies because I got so many mouths to feed. I know these shellies are always shy. But thank you, Mink Fishkeeper. I hope I'm saying that right. No, I'm probably not. Lucas, should I stash these tanks somewhere for you? Yeah, you can leave them out in the woods. Give me like coordinates. Wouldn't that be something? I'm sure they'd be all right out there. I mean, it's glass. I don't know. I'm probably going to take some tanks too. I've got a storage full of tanks still, just because I don't have space here to use them. Then it's good to have backups. These are baby thread fins. But it is good to have backup tanks because you never know if they're gonna quit doing dollar gallon sales. So I have like backup 20 longs and backup 20 highs and 40s. Just in case. You know, try to save some money. In case one blows out. But thank you guys for the support. I really, really appreciate it. Get these guys some more food. Whoa. We'll give you coordinates and a compass. Sounds great. We can do that. That'll be the start. So I know you're getting ready to try to move off the island to America, to the States, the mainland. Are you crazy? You're in paradise right now. But I understand. You want to see your baby. Start a fish room too. Fish house. Which you guys should, JH Aquatics, make an absolutely amazing fish house together. With your guys' as much passion as you both have. It'll be interesting to watch. And this is Endlers with Shelleys. Shelleys are... They're a little more timid now. They used to not be so timid because the Endlers made them feel safe, but I started swiping them out of there because some people have been wanting them. And yeah, now they're a little more shy. And this is the upper tour rainbow fish, chilling Thernia species. Male and female, fast. Being awful shy. Camera, Norman lamp eye, killifish. More dwarf neons, boom, boom, boom. Yum, 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 yum. Mank Fish Keeper says, just so you know, bro, it's pronounced mank. Okay. Fish Keeper, LOL. I like manky without the Y. Alright. Mank. What's up, Mank? Alright, Mank. That'll work. Now I know. Thank you so much for teaching me that and for the support. This one's actually empty. This has my threadfin rainbows. But thank you. I'm glad I know how to say that now because I didn't know if it was like Mancy or Mank or... Alright. Gotta get these guys down here. As you can see, it takes some time to feed the fish. This is only one room. Let's do this. Let's try to do this fast. Usually I'm just like, whoosh, spread on through, check it on over. Eat, my friends, eat, feast upon the granules. Feast upon them all. Feed these guys again, because they're always hungry. Hungry enough to splash. Get these guys up here. A little community of everything. Let's see if you guys can see that. Amarai rainbows, some rice fish. Dwarf neons. Wow, that dwarf neon, that male is getting kind of aggressive with those black neon tetras. He must have been hangry. I mean, sometimes fish can get hangry too. I think that's one of the things with fish and keeping is just keeping them from getting hangry. That biofilm would make you go crazy. Yeah, I mean, there's ways to combat it for sure. But when you have hundreds of tanks, you can't win them all. Here's the Starburst Endlers down here. Some nice grips. Yum, 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 yum. Alright, hold on. What was that? GB3, thank you again for the support, brother. Says Sarah has mail too. She does. Does she have an email from you? I know she checks her emails. Thank God for her, because I would have troubles getting anything answered. More guppies. These are kind of new guppy colonies I've been trying to start off. This has some baby pencil fish, I think. Yeah, frittata fry. Tell you what, it's not easy holding this phone. And trying to get that camera shot for y'all. These are the split tail, scissor tail And these guys are cool. Some are albino, some aren't. You know, biggest goal is trying to keep the food off the floor. That water just can't see them, but you know they're eating. It's like being outside right before the sun goes down. They all come up to eat. These guys know it's time to eat. They're waiting for it. These guys will wait till I leave to eat. So I give them a little up front, a little in the back. Try to keep it off the plants too though, because that can cause problems when you get it on the plants. We got some Plecos in there, so I'll keep some granules. Like the Guppies, I try to crush it up a little bit. Alright, Japanese blues, neons. And I'm still gonna go to that blue dream tank here soon. Peace out, mink, fish keeper. These guys are always super hungry. So y'all get along when it's feeding time. Nobody's scared of anybody. Yum, 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 yum. Then I always throw some down here for the slower ones. And that just kind of mixes up the group too. Oh, that blue guy was always my fave. Yeah, he's pretty awesome. Here's a sweet discus. What's up, buddy? All right, let's get to this side. A little crunch for these little CPDs. These guys eat a lot. There's actually some Plecos down here too. Make sure they get enough. They just get a little. These just get a little. And ooh. Go for them. Or for these, and then we'll go into the other room. Boom, a lot, actually a lot for these. They're eaters. Nice having some decent quality. Can't wait to see the playback on this, so put this food up here. Boom. Because I got different cans everywhere. Always make sure that's closed real good too. I want that moisture getting into your food. And we're free from the garage. Oh yeah. So the other half of the fish room I forgot is turned off because Sarah's new office is over there. Which I don't know why this tank is on back there. I have to check the timer. But I had to steal these guys. I've been feeding these guys some blackworms and some bloodworms. Ooh, I need to change the water in there. Look at all them blackworms. They do eat some granules every now and then, but I like to treat them with some blackworms, trying to get them to breed in here. So I'll have to go through that without you guys, because that will be tough. And guppies, endlers, whatever. The blue dreams, I wanted to at least try out the internet in this room, because granules for the fish. What feed the cat, Wesley, haha. They eat tropical granules. The blue dreams you're going to be able to see. There's actually quite a bit of them. I mean, look how many of them are blue dreams. When it comes to breeding out blue dreams, getting them all solid like that, it's not easy. I've spent a lot of time to do so. Now I know there's many that are running my colonies too now. There's a lighter color one here. So whenever I go to pick my shrimp for the week, I'll actually take him out if I see him. Need to get these guys a new home. But it's been kind of rough with having half of the fish room on during the day and half at night. Like my sleep schedule's been so crazy right now because of it. You guys are sleeping on this plant right here. This is actually one of my favorites now. The pagayi. But there's the other fry rack. I gotta get, actually, I don't have to feed the rest of these because I actually fed these guys earlier. Normally I feed them all together. I'd run through the whole house, but now I've actually got to split my feeding up. These are the exodons, but buffering. I don't know if they're breeding in here. See you guys. You guys, Sarah?
Yeah,
I did, okay.
I came back for a little bit. You just moved too quick.
Yeah, I believe that. All right, are we back? Are we back now? Are we back meow? Are we back right meow meow? Anybody out there? Hello, hello, hello. Is there anybody out there? Well, not if you can hear me. Is there anybody home? I guess not. I don't know. I don't know if you guys are still on here or not. I don't know what's going on with the internet. We did try to go in the belly of the beast. I don't think the quality of the internet's not quite there as far as the other side of the house. We do have an extender. We did some speed test on it and everything, and it didn't quite perform well. So the extender is not doing its job. We still got to figure that out. But it's a good test. At least we did it on a bonus encore here. I cannot see any chat here, so I hope you all have a great weekend. I appreciate you all coming, hanging out, watching this. Until next time, everybody, peace, and have a great weekend. Do 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 do.